All right, ladies and gents, we are joined right now by an absolute legend. And I am super excited that this guy's taking some time to jump on to have a convo with me this morning, man. One of those dudes that we talk about having impact both on and off the field. Absolutely, this is that guy right here. I'm talking about the guy who came into the NFL in the 1969 NFL draft when the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him in the third round with the 56 overall selection out of Oklahoma State. And after coming into the NFL, he enjoyed a 13-year career all here in the black and gold from 1969 to 1981. And he was a four-time Super Bowl champ, and in 2021 was inducted into the Steelers Hall of Honor. I'm talking about none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Steelers number 55, Job Kolb.
Yeah, who else wore 55?
It might have been another guy. Hey, what's up,
That was a
5-5,
good
brother?
number.
Hey, look.
That's a good players wearing that number, as I recall.
Absolutely. But we had to, follow up your lead. I mean, you set the standard and put that bar pretty daggone high, man. So we
There you go.
appreciate you for that.
There you go.
Now, we obviously know Steelers offensive line, man, and just offensive line in general has been, a big thing that gets talked about over these past couple of seasons. And you're one of those guys, like I said, who did it for a long, long time and at multiple positions, playing center, then obviously moving on to the tackle spot where you really were dominating. But if you could just talk a little bit about, the challenges and just some of the differences of playing offensive line in the NFL in comparison to when you were playing at the collegiate level.
Well, there's always schools of what people do, and our coaches came from the Alabama thing where it was a lot of scramble blocking, and you just got on the guy's legs and you scrambled him, and we would only throw a pass if it was the turn of the century or something like that. And so you didn't have a clue how to pass block, and so I came to Pittsburgh, and it still wasn't too bad. Like you said, I was drafted as a center, and then, but we ended up, we had, in a couple of years, we had, if you look at the Super Bowl, one of the Super Bowls, everybody on the line is wearing a 50 number.
Yeah.
I'm 55 because I was moved from center, and Jim Clack was a center, moved to guard, and Ray Mansfield was a center. So we had 50s all over the thing. But playing center, you've got a space that is about yay wide, and that nose tackle isn't going to run outside of that because he's going to run into guard. So you have a close space. When you're playing tackle, you're out on an island.
Ooh, yeah.
And you've got these gazelles like Harvey Martin. I don't know if people remember, but Harvey, like 6'6", ran like a deer and get it up the field. Freddie Dreyer, I played against Freddie in the Rams Super Bowl. He became a detective on the TV show. And Jim Marshall when we played, and Alan Page when we played the Vikings. So those guys, they ran like they could run, and so you need
to say those some names right there. Absolutely.
And so I guess the bottom line is, and I've always been jealous, and if I what's the word? If you can miss a tackle, okay?
Yeah.
You can come back and make an interception.
It is all good. It's all good.
And nobody's going to remember that tackle you missed.
Nope.
And you can blame it on somebody else, that you were really in support.
It wasn't my responsibility. I was just extra man over there. I was just hoping. Yeah.
But if you miss a sack, if you make a sack, there's no hole you can crawl into. And on TV, they're running it back. And they're showing Freddie Dreyer. They're showing Harvey Martin getting that sack again. And you want to crawl in a hole, but you can't. You just got to stand there. And that's why they call TV timeout, so they can run this back so you're giving up a sack. But there's nothing good you can do on the other side. If if you on the next play you drive the guy on his back, they show
They'll
Franco
talk about
for a
it. Yeah.
touchdown. But they don't show the guy running, making the block.
But to say, and that is the gift and the curse of that offensive line life right there.
Yeah.
Major importance, but not always getting the attention that you want. Yeah, it's one of them things, man. But we definitely appreciate you. All right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we did lose one of the founding members too, man, of the Steelers offensive line, man. One of those guys who was actually one of your former teammates and a guy that, had covered the Steelers for decades, man, and Craig Wolfley. I did want to just, give you a moment to, if you had anything you wanted to share about, your time with him and a favorite memory, being that you guys did share the field together and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Arthur. I appreciate that. And it's not just, it's not just Sam, or it's not just Craig.
Yeah.
I played next to, and I guess this is my story. I played next to Sam Davis for 10 years, and then Sam pulls a muscle. He pulls a hamstring in. We're playing the last exhibition game. We're playing Dallas, and he pulls a hamstring. So Sam's out. Hamstring never got well. Sam never came back. But we played together 10 years, and we had our own system of grunts that the coaches didn't.
What do you mean of grunts?
Yeah, okay. So you come up, and maybe you're in a 50 alignment, and I'm playing, for example, my Craig Wolfley thing. I'm playing Elvin Bethea. And that guy had a ram, did you guys call him ram? He had an inside ram technique. He'd get that shoulder down. The only place that you could pop him was at the top of that pad, but he was only 2 feet off the ground by then. And some of these guys, they were just, oh, man. So we're in Tampa Bay, and I'm playing Leroy Selman. He's a Hall of Fame guy. Okay. And Craig, so Sam gets hurt. Gets hurt, and they put this rookie in, Craig Wolfley. And Sam and I had reduced everything into, like I said, we'd come up the line, he'd see the front. So you can say the play's 35. Okay, we're going to run 35 trap, 35 special, 35 straight, 35 cutback, 35 solid, and yep, okay. We didn't say solid. We just made a grunt. Or if it was a pass, you're gonna a me game and a you game and a Tom game, all this stuff. How you gonna area it? You're gonna man it. What are you gonna do? And you just just a grunt. But Craig's out there making these calls, and I'm going, I know. Would you shut up? And he's driving me nuts. So this goes on for 3 weeks. And I'm going, I can't deal with this. This guy, and the coaches, he said, well, the coaches told me to make the calls. Yeah, but the coaches aren't playing the game.
Yeah.
Well, you're out there playing. The coach, he watches the film, but he's not playing the game. And once the game starts, the coach's job is really to get out of your way. And don't talk to me during the game. On Tuesdays, we get together, watch film. Yeah. You can holler and make.
You got to be all week. I'm about to say, you got to be all during the week. Don't talk to me on game day, man.
Don't mess with me on game day. Yeah. So Craig's out there, and he's making all these calls. And I forgot the calls. I don't even know. Just shut up. And I just kept it with just shut up. And so we're playing Tampa Bay, and I'm playing against Leroy Selman. He is beyond quick. That's his whole game. He's just quick. And there's shake and bake. You know what I'm talking about. Shake and bake. Okay. So a lot of guys, when they do the shake and bake, they stop their feet. And you just stand there and let them watch them vibrate. And then when they finish, then you hit them. But he didn't stop his feet. He was quick. So I don't know where he went. So we snapped the ball. It was 60 basic. It was a pass to Stallworth. And this guy beats me so quick, I don't know where he went. It's never happened before. And right after he beat me, Arthur, there's a roar from the crowd. And I thought, oh my gosh,
Oh, you got him killed. You got Bradshaw killed.
I got Bradshaw killed. And I don't know if you ever saw Brad that was one of the motivations. Because do you ever catch a perch and you don't want it and you just throw it on the bank? What does it do? It just flops around like that. So if you gave up a sack, Brad's like flopping around,
Oh man, he got played dead. Oh, it's over. Oh,
the train. So I look around and I see Stallworth going for a touchdown. And I go, what's that roar? And, well, that was Stallworth going for a touchdown. But where's Selman? And I look around behind me, and Selman's on the ground and standing over him like this with his hands like that. It's Craig Wolfley. And he looks up at me, and he goes, I got your back, old man.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
So from then on, I let him make all the calls that he wanted to make. And it was really neat because, Sam and I were roommates. We played together for 10 years. And then Sam pulls a hamstring, never comes back. And then I got to play 3 more years. And those 3 were with Craig Wolfley. Wow. And so we had, I think that's what's great about offensive line is that you develop, it's a tandem. You can't just do what you do without that guard, and you just got to be on the same mental.
Oh yeah, y'all are a unit on offensive line compared to defense. We're more hired guns, mercenaries. Yeah,
particularly if you got Joe Green and Ernie Holmes.
Yeah,
Ernie, but he was. Can I insert? We're at a chapel service. I got Ernie. We're at a chapel service. We're playing the Jets, and so we have a chapel service for the game. And Ernie's there, the first one, and he doesn't move. Everybody comes in. Ernie's sitting like this. Doesn't move the whole time. So the fella comes in, does the chapel service. Everybody gets up and leaves, and Ernie still hasn't moved. And so we're out in the hallway, and we're going, who's going to go wake Ernie up? We thought he was asleep.
Yeah.
I don't want to wake him up. JT said, I'm not going, nobody wants to wake Ernie up. And so they said, John, go in there. He probably won't hurt you. And so I go in there and I tap him on the shoulder. We just left the chapel service. And Ernie, you okay? You okay? And he looks up at me and he said, we're playing the Jets. And he says, I dreamed I just bit Joe Namath's head off.
Oh.
And he gets up and he goes to the pregame meal. And I think he did. I think he bit Joe Namath's head off.
No.
I think he had like 3 sacks in that game.
Let's go.
But, the defensive tackles inside there, they're a little bit.
A little different. Yep. No, that is funny right there, man. Now, I do have to ask because the other big thing that we've, been experiencing this offseason is quarterback talk, right? Quarterback. And we all understand the importance of the position. But you have a little bit of a unique experience, man, being that you played with Terry Bradshaw and you got a chance to see the beginning of what that was like. And then obviously the heights that it got to, with all of the Super Bowl championships that you guys were able to win together. So if you could just talk about the impact of Terry Bradshaw and just when you have that type of stability at quarterback, what that means for you guys as an offense.
Yeah, well, when you say stability, Brad was like sometimes Brad was very excitable. And so when you're in the huddle, you got to call a formation and you got to call a play. And so if you don't get the right formation to match up with the right play, then you can't run that play out of that formation. And Brad, we would say at the pregame meal, all right, keep him clean. Because if his first 2 or 3 passes and he's throwing the ball and he's clean, then Brad's in control. Doesn't matter what happens after that. But if he throws a pick or something early on, then it's chaos in the huddle.
Yeah.
Because he's calling one play out of the wrong formation. But when that happened, Franco knew what formation to get into, and so. But if you said, Terry, which do you want, the full right split or you want the full right? Then you really got him messed up. So you just knew you got to know, and I think that was kind of the what's the word, the beauty, the way everybody just meshed and knew what to do. It just was something that it rolled up together, and Brad, he could throw. He would stand on the sideline in practice and throw the ball to the other sideline, and somebody would be in the middle of the field, and they would throw it to the middle of the field. But Brad just could go, and he
Across the field.
just throw the ball across the field. And the thing that drove me nuts is he's right-handed, so when he sets, he sees stuff coming from
that side. From the right side.
He would set, and then he would start to drift behind me.
Oh, it's making your job harder. Heck yeah.
Yeah, because I was really a guard now instead of a tackle, because I can't let that come upfield. I got to play like a guard. Anyway, I don't know how much time you got. My favorite Brad story is he would always wear lizard skin boots and ostrich skin boots. Real cowboys don't wear that stuff, And,
he said, that's too fancy over here, man. All right, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. And he would carry a quarter horse journal. So I thought he knew what he was doing there with horses. And I had a farm and I had a couple quarter horses, and he came out there one time and he was trying to saddle this horse, and I was like, hey, Brad, the cinch in the front, that's supposed to be tight, and the girth in the back, that's supposed to be loose, and you got it backwards. So this saddle ain't going to stay on if you get on that horse. And I fixed it up for him, and I said, yeah, this is a roping horse. I rope with her. And he goes, well, rope something. So I didn't have any calves down in the pen, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I said, okay, take off running there. And so, you got to know Brad too. So he take off running down the pasture, and he's looking at his shoulder. He says, you can't catch me. That was a stupid thing to say, because my horse got 4 legs. He got 2 legs. So I got up on him, and I roped, popped the slack, and he's standing there roped. And he said, that's pretty cool. And I said, now stay there, because I got to ride the horse up to you. But he kept walking up to the horse, and she keeps backing up, because that's what she's supposed to do.
Right.
And so the first stupid thing I did was roping. The second stupid thing I did was I got off the horse because I was going to walk up to him to get him to stand still.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm in the middle, he goes, oh my, what happens if she spooks? Well, he spooked her.
He's still tied up. Yeah.
She drug him 2 laps around the pasture. Yeah, and it was in the morning. There was still dew on the grass, and he, the dew's popping up and everything. And
oh no.
So anyway, finally got her stopped. That's a story in itself. But the funniest thing about that to me, I saw Chuck Noll just a few months before he died, and this was just 4 or 5 years ago, and it was probably 30 years after the horse thing.
Yeah. And
he said, we were talking, and he said something about how you doing, and I said, well, I did something stupid the other day, and I just was, and he goes, you mean like roping your quarterback?
He knew.
And I said, you knew about that. And I don't know if you ever were around Chuck, but he's got that smile that just one side smiles, but the other side doesn't smile. you know.
Oh,
And so he gave me that kind of one-sided smile. And all these years he knew, but he never said anything about it. That was,
wow.
yeah, that's a lot of story there. But
No, I like that right there, man. And shout out to Chuck Noll, man, and Terry Bradshaw. Jeez. I'm glad that everything worked out, man, and that you didn't hurt him too bad, all right?
he
Because
didn't hurt
geez,
him too
we
bad.
still needed him, all right?
He threw for 300 yards that week too.
Okay, there we
Rope
go,
burns around, with
there
rope
we
burns
go.
around his waist, he threw for 300 yards.
See, he just needed you to loosen him up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it, man. Well, the last thing that I have for you, because like I said, I do want to be mindful of your time, is could you talk a little bit about Adventures in Training with a Purpose, ATP? We know since, you've been playing and you've transitioned from there, you've been having a lot of impact in other ways off the field. And I know this is something that is near and dear to your heart. So if you could please just share a little bit about, what you guys are doing over there.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So ATP stands for Adventures in Training with a Purpose. And we started off really working with physical conditions because unfortunately in the United States, insurance dictates the amount of care that someone gets. Not the doctor, but the insurance company. So I worked in an orthopedic office and we would do a knee replacement and the insurance company would say 12 weeks later would say, "You're done." And I go running upstairs to the doctor and I say, "But this lady, she can't get off a toilet seat. She can't go downstairs." Well, the insurance isn't paying. And so some guy that sits in an office is determining the amount of care. And it kind of got to be frustrating enough. And I guess, I've heard it said that you can either curse the darkness or you can try to light a match, light a light. And so that's how ATP really got started, was kind of an adjunct to help people that had physical limitations.
Yeah.
But then what happened is that, and this is something, there's a couple things I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Then what happened is when soldiers started coming back from combat, and they didn't. I mean, I've got amputees, okay, and he's not going to grow a leg back. That leg's gone. It's not coming back. So we have to work and train physically for that. But the big problem with so many veterans, we just say PTS, and then we put a D on it. Because Arthur, if you come up and you make a tackle and you get a concussion, they don't go, "Oh, well, you've got a disorder." No, you had a head-on collision at 30 miles an hour, and you got a concussion. But if somebody comes back from combat and they can't figure it out, they call it a disorder. Look it up, PTS. Why do we got to put the D on it? So the D is really telling the soldier that anybody else would be okay, but you got a disorder.
Yeah.
There's something you're not, and essentially, he's a man. So now he's questioning, am I a man? 'Cause I'm struggling getting through this.
Yeah.
And every day in the United States, on average, 28 veterans take their own life. And we never hear that. We never hear it. And I don't know if we're doing anything about it.
Yeah.
We haven't even learned to fix potholes yet. So
That's the truth.
yeah. So there is some really, really good scientific data. One of the best books, and sometimes I say this will be on the test, but if people are really interested, there's a book called Spark, and the author's name is John Rattay. He is a psychiatrist and he teaches at Harvard University. I don't know, did Harvard recruit you? They didn't recruit me.
I was about to say I was not on their list. No,
I was on the list. Yeah, but what he talks about, and this is the foundation of ATP, if you will, is that he talks about the connection of movement and how our brain works. I think that's also interesting because there was a doctor 2,000 years ago. His name was Luke, and he wrote a couple books in the Bible. And he wrote the book of Acts. And he says in the book of Acts, in him, speaking of Christ, we live, we move, and we exist. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting, move is in the middle of that. So when we take movement away from people, and we do that in nursing homes, we put
Yeah.
them in a wheelchair and wheel them out and let them sit there all day.
Yeah.
We do it in the VA hospitals. And when somebody has arthritis real bad or something, they can't, when people can't move, that that really happens. They stop
Yeah.
existing. And so this book, they've done a lot of research on how movement increases brain function. We know movement increases cardiovascular
Right.
function, but how does it increase? But it does increases brain function, and so you're not taking pills. You're moving. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, here's so how much, how long, how often, that what kind of movement do we do? And so I'm in the little office thing here, right to my right, about 20 feet, are a couple veterans out there right now, and they're doing various little movement activities that don't require anything. I use ski poles
Huh.
to help them balance. Here's my little ski pole. Uh,
Yeah.
if I need some help, but the simple when you after you've kind of learned all the movement activities, they are simple. And then we so it's a purpose. We got to have a purpose. Ventures in training with a purpose. How would you like to just practice every day and never play a ball game?
That
You
would
know,
suck, right?
yeah, perpetual training camp.
Yeah.
Okay, perpetual training camp. So what we do then is we take them on bicycle trips, kayak trips, uh, hiking trips. We've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I've climbed it
Jeez.
once. My son's taken veterans up 4 times up Mount
Four
Kilimanjaro,
times?
4 times in Africa.
Gosh.
In fact, see over my shoulder, I just now
Yeah.
noticed it. There's a picture. You see Mount Kilimanjaro
I
right there.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
That's in Africa, and you start, and you're
What?
with the natives, and you're learning to do that dance stuff that they
Yeah.
do, and then you get up there at the tippy top, and you're in the snow. It's a neat, but it's a great experience. But we do kayak trips around here. We do bike trips around here, and we've hiked the Grand Canyon. So, but we got to train. Adventure is in training with a purpose. And
Yeah.
the cool thing about it, there's a great healing process that happens when people return to movement.
Wow. I love that right there. And John, you are doing some awesome work. I mean, obviously we know what you did on the field doing your playing careers, but to just hear about that type of impact, and I know I've been able to see it as well, man, when I've been out there with you and stuff like that, man. And like I said, keep doing what you are doing, man. And always a pleasure to talk with you. Appreciate you so much, man, taking some
Thank
time to
you.
jump up here with me, man. And we'll definitely do this again another time, man. But like I said, definitely appreciate you again. And y'all already know, all the viewers out there, man, we do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, baby, peace.